It all began with Jack Kerouac's On the Road. I devoured it in one long day at the end of the 1959 winter semester at the University of Chicago, where I was the graduate fellow in international relations. Early the next morning, I blasted out of academia and those gloomy Gothic towers and hit the asphalt, joyfully thumbing my way south and west on Old Route 66, the Mother Road, through Towanda, Tulsa, Tucumcari, Gallup, Kingman, and across the Mojave Desert to the City of the Angels, then up the breathtaking Coast Road to bond with the Beats in San Francisco, yearning for more travel. 3 years later, already 25, I finally made it to my first foreign country, although it wasn't that foreign. It was only Canada. My parents traveled little, never venturing farther from Brooklyn than Boston, once every 4 years to visit my father's siblings, because we were poor. My mother, a secretary, my father, a waiter in a succession of near-bankrupt kosher delicatessens where he never earned more than $70 in a week, and because they found no delight in traveling. When they were quite young, they had each separately made the long and arduous train journey from their impoverished, pogrom-plagued villages in the hostile heart of Bielorussia to the teeming ports of Western Europe, where they were jammed into the steerage compartments of dirty, overcrowded ships for a storm-tossed 12-day crossing to the fateful examination at Ellis Island. That was, for them, enough traveling to last a lifetime. All my father ever wanted after that was a roof that doesn't leak, enough food on the table, and a warm bed with your mother in it. Their unwillingness to travel made me all the more eager for it. I was at Fort Drum, near Watertown, New York, a sergeant in the Army Reserve on summer tour of duty, training my squad on the 155mm atomic cannon, a mean machine capable of hurling a nuclear shell more than 22 miles, about the distance to the Canadian border, although we never aimed it that way. At the end of our 2 weeks of live-fire exercises, without nuclear warheads, 6 of us crammed into the corporal's old car and headed across the St. Lawrence River for the nearest big city, which was Ottawa, Canada's capital, a neat, staid, pleasant government town. Canada looked to me a lot like the U.S., just a bit cleaner and quieter, with clearer skies and greener grass, and populated then only with white folks, all of whom walked slower, talked slower, and were more friendly and courteous than the New Yorkers among whom I grew up, but little likely to inspire anyone to imagine that foreign travel could be a fabulous joyride. My next foreign foray came a year later, when I was picture story editor of Argosy. A movie producer junketed me to Madrid, at whose outskirts he'd erected a cardboard and plaster full-size replica of ancient Rome to film Fall of the Roman Empire. A week's free trip to Madrid could whet anyone's appetite for travel, but what made mine insatiable was a full-day stopover in Paris on my flight home, my first of a dozen visits since. I dumped my bag at an inexpensive pension in the Boulevard de la Tour Maubourg, but never made it back to bed. For the next 22 hours I devoured the City of Light on foot, the Louvre, Eiffel Tower, Les Invalides, the Tuileries, Place de la Concorde, Panthéon, Luxembourg Gardens, the Left Bank, the Right Bank, the American Express Bank, cash resupply, Montparnasse, the Sorbonne, Notre Dame, evening with the artists in Montmartre, night with the ladies of the Folies Bergères in Pigalle, and a glorious morning watching the sun rise over the twinkling city from atop the hill in the Basilica of Sacré-Cœur. Ottawa had been my first shy, fumbling kiss. Madrid was heavy petting. Paris was going all the way. True love. I was hooked on travel and eager for some serious sightseeing. On the practical side, I had a great job, good health, an apartment on fashionable East 55th Street, was dating some of the hottest models and actresses in town, a legacy from my previous post as an editor at Playboy, had saved enough to start an investment portfolio, and had 100 other valid reasons to stay put.